Star Trek The Next Generation on Blu-ray, episode 11001001. What are you watching down there? It sounds awesome. Oh, nothing, Mom. I'm just watching 11001001. Oh, okay. Season 1 on Blu-ray. This is day 17 of 30 in my 30 days of Star Trek reviews. And this episode, even though it has a super nerdy name, like more nerdy than normal nerdy name, like maybe even a geeky name, is awesome. This is a really cool episode, and I was having more fun watching this than most modern things right now. Let's get into it. This is probably one of the absolute best looking episodes for exterior Enterprise shots. Look at this thing. Oh my gosh!
Captain's log started
looks so good.
41365.9.
That
The Enterprise
is a
has
cool
been
shot.
ordered to Starbase 74
There's a close-up.
Anticipate a glowing report.
Docking. Can you
The
imagine
ship has
living in
performed
there?
magnificently,
I
beyond
wonder what it's like in
anyone's
there.
expectations.
Maybe it's like on Wall-E and people are just rolling around on hover chairs, drinking breakfast shakes and stuff. Here's another awesome shot with a model with the docking lights on it. It's hard to recreate that convincingly with computer graphics. Look at it. Okay, so looking at this awesome Starbase shot and how big the Enterprise is and how big this thing is and all the tiny little windows all over it. Like, obviously there's lots and lots of like science and work and stuff going on Starbases, but I think it's just like the Enterprise where there's lots of families there and there's people that just grow up here. But it made me realize something about the Federation society is that their birth rate, like the human birth rate, has to be like, humans have to be breeding like crazy in the 24th century Star Trek, because they always talk about humans colonizing other planets. You've got, look at this Starbase, like how many people are on this thing? You know what I mean? Like right now, the birth rate does not lead to this future of this huge expanding human race on tons of different planets. But then again, this society went through a nuclear holocaust, World War III, and then I think there was another set of wars before everything got like called eugenics war or something. I have to look it up. But the point is they went through a really bad calamity and then kind of rebuilt from the ashes to be the Federation. So maybe the birth rate took off after that. But yeah, just look at how many people fit in there. But I really do think it's like Wall-E in there. Here's a really good homage to classic Star Trek. Almost the exact same shot. See that? It's like the various Star Treks that go where the ship comes into space dock and the people look out the window and see it.
And lock off. Aye, sir.
All right, this episode's actually a little bit hard because every single shot I almost want to like point something out and talk about it. Two things coming up here. One, a little bit of emotion out of Data, very subtle. And then two, another really cool exterior shot from them being docked and some music that sounds like it's straight out of Escape from New York. Listen to this. But first, look at Data. Look at his little emotion on his mouth specifically. See that little smile right there? Okay, listen to that. Okay, listen to this. See if it sounds like Escape from New York to you. It totally does to me. Also, this exterior shot is so awesome looking. There's so much detail going on. This episode uses such a cool combination of like just straight up matte paintings and miniatures and moving images composited over stuff. This episode I think is just on a totally new level as far as the integration of matte paintings, models, and everything, and like epic space imagery. Because I feel like a lot of the time we're just watching the Enterprise just fly by kind of in profile. All right, let's try that again. So we see lots of really cool, interesting exterior shots instead of just watching the Enterprise fly by in profile like we're used to seeing. I've got it. Might as well use it. So this is a great Star Trek episode on so many levels. like here we're going to see in a minute, there's going to be some awesome adventure. Then there's some interesting sci-fi ideas. Like these guys their society is super connected with computers to the point where they kind of are computers. And it's a very typical sci-fi theme of your society depends so much on computers, and then you get too integrated, and then if computers fail, then you fail. So that's like a really fun continuous theme in sci-fi. So it's fun to have it on here. Again, a little bit on the nose, but watch these guys and tell me if you think they seem trustworthy. So just working on your ship, see how they're doing.
Because of the limited time allotted, we need others.
Is there a problem?
No problem.
Then why are you acting so excited?
Because we all have to... stacking! To reconfigure the computer. To communicate with itself. More efficiently. And at higher speeds.
Right, nothing wrong there. Yep, totally normal, everything good. You can trust these people on your ship. Oh my gosh. It's like how to detect a sketchy person 101. 101 001101. Okay, so 2 reasons to look at right here. Data's being artistic and painting. Everyone has time off because they're docked, so it's fun watching everyone see what to do to divert themselves. But look at the shot composition on this. This is really, really good. Like, whoever laid out the cinematography, like, they're really trying to be creative and interesting in this episode. So you have, like, extreme out-of-focus chair in the foreground. Then you have this super glossy table with their reflections, like they're standing by a lake or something. And then just them standing together looking at his painting. But look at this. There's so many shots in this episode that you could just frame. Like, looks great. But look, Data's painting, my wife pointed out that it kind of looks like the 3D model of a cell. So that's interesting. It looks like a 3D model of a cell over like a star or something. So yeah, look at that shot composition. I love that. I'm going to be watching this episode a little closer now for more cool shots like this. Okay, so Riker's wandering all over the ship looking for something to do, and he stops in to visit with Beverly, who's packing
You look like
to
you're
go to do
packing to
something.
leave forever.
But look at her hair.
Oh, Commander Riker.
She got a haircut.
No, I'm just
2 or 3
gathering my
inches
notes.
off. Looks great. Like, looks
Professor
really,
Terrence
really good.
Epstein is at this starbase.
So Riker decides to go into the holodeck, where, of course, nothing can go wrong, and to divert himself. So he creates a Bourbon Street bar in the 50s in New Orleans, so he can go play some jazz, which is cool. We learn about him, that he's a musician. But then he's creating an audience for himself, and it just starts to feel like someone Googling stuff nowadays.
Seldom go together. Now that is truly exceptional. But more sultry.
He's smitten. So Riker, it seems he's been, I don't want to say the victim, but he's been the fodder for trying sci-fi ideas on somebody. He's a very passionate person. So they're like, whoa, what if somebody like got involved with the hologram? And they're like, let's have Riker do it. So it just seems like they keep using him for these interesting sci-fi ideas. But it ends up making him look kind of like a reckless tramp. So Riker seems to have found a way to divert himself with this program. Her name is Minuet, and one thing that I think is really interesting about her is that she holds incredibly multifaceted conversations. She calls him Will right off the bat. Picard comes in, she calls him Jean-Luc. She talks to him in French. And she talks to Will about being on a starship. So normally the programs only know the knowledge that someone would know at that time and period. But this program, it's like she knows she's a program. She knows things about these people specifically. And so it just becomes really interesting. And Picard and Riker both get pretty fascinated for different reasons. Picard's fascinated that she's such a good program. Riker's like, oh my gosh, I have feelings for this program, and that actually comes up later in the series. But yeah, so right off the bat, you're kind of like, why is she such an adaptive and good program? And you're watching the Bionars do all these secret little looks to each other. So we're starting to suspect that something's afoot in the holodeck again. So far, this episode has just been kind of a fun, relaxing, character building, relationship, awesome outside shots kind of an episode. But now the ship is about to lose antimatter containment, and Data makes a really awesome call right here. And I love to see his confidence when he knows that it's his decision to make. So he's third in command. So you got Picard, Riker, then Data. So he's the second officer. And like I said, I love when he confidently takes command. Data's got such a good command presence. Check this out.
Seconds. 17 seconds. 16 seconds.
Engineering to bridge.
This is the bridge.
Alert Starbase. Inform them we are abandoning the ship. Tell them why. Initiate automated sequence for departure. Set course and speed to put maximum distance between the Enterprise and any inhabited planets.
Shouldn't we wait for the captain's approval?
There is no time. Based on all information presently available, the decision is correct. This is Lieutenant Commander Data speaking for the captain. Abandon ship.
Awesome. So yeah, Data making a judgment call and going for it is really cool. And then the fact that the ship is about to be destroyed and the captain and Riker didn't hear it, and they're just going to have to send it out into space and everyone's going to evacuate. Like, this is real stakes. This isn't just the camera shaking around and people jigging around in their seats like Red Alert. This is like, this ship is going to get destroyed. So the stakes just go through the roof on this part. So here we learn the true purpose of Minuet.
Part of this.
Yes.
They made you the lure to keep me here. They programmed you while I was relaxing.
Yes. When they saw your interest in me, they thought I could distract you and keep you here.
That explains Riker. What about me?
Your being here was just a fortunate happen.
So we learn the point of Minuet, why she was such a good program, and that she was there to distract these guys. And coming up is this part. I just had a smile on my face and I was on the edge of my seat. This is Riker and Picard commando mode, basically deciding they're going to take back their ship or they're going to destroy it. But they are not going to let it go into enemy hands. And I also like that as well, because it's like, this ship is extremily powerful. It could basically be a super weapon in the wrong hands. So Picard is like, we're going to destroy this thing. Riker's like, and he's like, yeah, actually I agree. So then anyway, let's look at it. All right. Commando Riker and Picard. Here
Commander Riker and I will now try to regain control of our ship.
Getting their phasers
This way.
attached.
That's towards engineering. That's our first step.
More
Verify
bold
containment
decisions.
and initiate auto-destruct. Initiate auto-destruct. Our ship has been commandeered by a force of unknown size and intent. We're here alone. We must assume the worst.
Yes, I love it. I love how decisive and bold and brave they're basically being on this part. They're armed. They gotta, like you said, assume the worst. We're gonna destroy this thing, or we're gonna take it back. Anyway, I love the urgency. I love the time crunch on this episode. It's just, the stakes are high. They're alone. We don't know what's gonna happen. This episode is so enjoyable. I really, really liked it. I forgot how much I liked this particular one. 0001 101. I love this. He's like, we're gonna take it back, or we're gonna destroy it. And then he's like, with the 5-minute timer, he's like, that's enough time to get to the bridge and shut off the auto-destruct sequence, or we won't. It's like, we're going to the bridge, we're gonna turn it off, we're gonna take it back, or we won't. Just like, oh, okay, that's awesome. He's like, we're gonna be successful, or we're not. Let's go. Check out the auto-destruct counter. It looks like a basketball clock that they just stuck in there.
What do you think of this, sir?
This episode feels a little bit Galaxy Questy sometimes with these guys, but they asked why didn't you just ask us? Why did you have to steal our ship to go try and save your planet? I love their answer.
You might have said no.
There was a very good chance we would have said yes.
So they're such ultra efficient computer people that they're like, you may have said no, we're just taking the sure shot. Look at this awesome, like perfectly arranged family photo as they bring the ship back into space dock. Look at this thing. Look at that perfect layout. What a great cast. So Riker's bummed out that Minuet, the program, is gone. And I was kind of waiting in this episode for some kind of like moral or like Picard space dad moment, especially with the holodeck and the girl, because you just know like that's trouble, right? But listen to Picard's space dad here, what he says to his number one.
I tried variations on the program others appeared, but not Minuet. Maybe it was all part of the bypass programming. But you know, number one, some relationships just can't work. Yes.
Thank you, Space Dad. Like, I love that. It's just, like, Riker's genuinely sad that Minuet's not there, and Picard's like, hey, that wasn't gonna work. Like, that was a fun little diversion, but that. Sometimes you gotta tell people relationship's not gonna go. So good job, Space Dad, saying the hard thing to your sad first officer there. All right, this has been day 17 of 30 in my 30 days of Star Trek reviews. So season 1 on Blu-ray, episode 1100101, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, this is an awesome episode. There's cool sci-fi, there's I guess some kind of action, there's stakes, there's movement, there's special effects, there's beautiful music, there's beautiful shot composition, and also we get to see people in their downtime, which is a different element. So this episode is outstanding. I am a huge fan of this episode, and I look forward to watching it many, many times. All of them I really enjoy. There's just a couple that I'm like, maybe I'll skip on a rewatch through, but this might be a new season 1 favorite. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Number 1. Yes, Captain. Subscribe. Make it so. So we'll see you on the next one.